here on GB News. We haven't shied away from reporting on the cost of living crisis affecting millions of you, including, of course, myself as well, actually. We're all human, aren't we? One of the biggest areas of concern is rising food prices, which have been hit by both inflation and supply chain issues.
Yes, however, at the same time that thousands of households are facing food insecurity, the government is ploughing ahead with an anti-obesity drive, outlawing promotional offers such as buy one get one free or 3 for 2 on what they consider to be offending foods. It is now really the time to be doing this, while Jason Reed is the UK lead at Young Voices and is a political commentator who has spoken on this very issue. Thank you for joining us. What do you make of this? Because yes, we are facing a cost of living crisis, but at the same time we do have an obesity issue in this country, don't we?
I think it's absolutely bonkers that the government is focusing right now on whether food is healthy rather than whether it's affordable. We're already hearing stories of people having to choose between heating their homes and feeding their families. So many families are already struggling to make ends meet, and that's only going to get worse in the next few months as the cost of living crisis really takes hold. And yet the government is still pushing through its health and care bill, which is just going to make food shopping even more expensive for those households that are already living on the breadline, because it wants to, as you say, introduce all these new measures like banning buy one get one free and other special offers on foods it's decided are unhealthy. There's a new advertising ban on various types of junk food at various times of day, which is going to bring huge costs for industry that will filter down to consumers. There's research from the Food and Drink Federation which predicts that this will add an extra £160 every year to families' shopping bills, which might not sound like a huge amount on its own, but when you combine it with the existing cost of living crisis and food prices going up anyway, in addition to energy prices and clothes prices and so on, lots of families are going to feel the pinch as a result of this. And it's a completely unnecessary thing for the government to be doing, because it won't solve the obesity issue either. One of the policies in the bill is the long-touted junk food advertising ban, which, according to the government's own research, will remove a grand total of 1.7 calories from kids' diets per day, which is roughly the equivalent of half a Smartie. So nothing at all. And yet they're still pushing ahead with this ridiculous nanny statism, which is just going to cost us a huge amount more money and not make us any slimmer.
No, but also just get out of my life. You know, if I see a packet of pork scratchings and there's a buy one get one free offer on it, and I buy 2 packets of pork scratchings, that's my right as a man, isn't it?
Exactly right. Yeah, I don't know what kind of mentality you must have to push this nanny statism, that you look down on ordinary people and you think that when people see a buy one get one free or a 3 for 2 on crisps or chocolate or whatever, that we just can't help ourselves. What must you actually think of obese people if you think that banning buy one get one free on chocolates alone will cause them to lose weight? Of course it won't make a difference. It's perfectly obvious that it won't make a difference. But the government, as usual, is more keen to be seen taking action than actually achieving any results. They just want to be able to virtue signal about, look at all the brilliant and worthwhile things that we're doing on public health, without actually thinking about the consequences.
Yes, and there is lots of truth to that, and I am shocked that so many resources and government time go into initiatives like this, which ultimately can't be measured. But I do want to ask you, what do you think then the government should be doing, if anything, about rising obesity? Because the reality is everybody who's a taxpayer pays the cost of what obesity and rising levels of obesity do to the NHS. That's all of us paying for it. So they do almost have to reduce obesity if they're to cut costs and public spending.
There's a huge amount you can do to address obesity without introducing new regulations and new taxes, which the government seems addicted to, which just make all our lives more difficult and more expensive. For instance, there was a really interesting study in the US where they experimented by putting yellow tape down the middle of shopping trolleys and putting labels on it saying this section of the trolley is for fruit and veg and this section is for everything else. And just by doing that, you saw a huge increase in the amount of healthy products that were purchased in those shops. So just by having small nudge-like policies like that, which you should experiment with in an innovative way, we can have a real impact on people's lifestyles and the choices people are making. The government is there to educate and inform and help people, to give us more resources. It's not there to take money out of our pockets by making life unnecessarily difficult and adding artificial extra cost on top of the costs we already face.
Good stuff, Jason. Thank you very much. Jason Reed is the UK lead at Young Voices and, of course, a political commentator as well, just discussing on the latest nanny status nonsense that's coming out from our government at the moment.